Birmingham Police Department, and we have traveling shoes out here. He's been out here praying and preaching to the folks in the city. He's very passionate about this issue. He has his bullhorn with him, and we'll just talk to him briefly about, you know, what brought him out here to the scene. And I'll give you this mic. The coroner has arrived here directly behind us. And let me give him this mic, and you'll put that on you. All right, sir. When I first got out here, I heard that you were, you know, very passionate about this, and you began to pray. Tell me about why you came out here.
Well, first of all, like you just said, you heard me pray. We have a spirit of murder on this city. We have a spirit of violence on this city. The spirit of murder, it can't be solved by the mayor's ink pen. It can't be solved by city council ink pen. It can't be solved by a president's declaration of state of order. It can't be solved by somebody saying we need more gun controls. All that is good. But until Birmingham, Alabama repents and Birmingham, Alabama get down and pray, because this is way past serious. We have children in school right now who cannot pay attention with their math, their science, and biology, because they're too busy asking each other who's going to get shot coming from the bus stop today, who's going to get killed walking to school in the morning. These are the conversations that our children are having. And we're not talking about Chicago. We're not talking about Minnesota, Indianapolis. We are talking about Birmingham, Alabama. With 1,000 churches, a church on every corner, a church on every block. And I'm not pointing the fingers at anybody. I'm pointing fists. Because I'm pointing fists at all of us. All of us got a part in what's going on. These sons who have totally lost all respect for the 5 P's. They've lost respect for parents. They've lost respect for politicians. Lost respect for pastors. Lost respect for the preachers. And then they've lost respect for the police. They don't want any authority. They don't want anybody to tell them anything. And this anger that we deal with here in Birmingham, Alabama, it's going to have all our attentions turned to this anger. Because what happens, if you remember, about 8-9 years ago, not too far from here, we had 5 young men killed in the house up in Ensley. That night, Brother Fred, that night, almost 1,000, 2,000 people in that little area. That night, Brother Fred, it wasn't the mothers crying that shocked me, because naturally a mother should cry whether her son is a good son or a bad son. When he dead, he dead. So a good son, a bad son, a dead son is just a dead son, and somebody's hurting. But it didn't shock me that night, the mothers crying. What shocked me that night was these 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds, because they was wrapped around my leg while I'm holding their mothers, and they were saying, traveling shoes, when I get a little bigger, when I get a little stronger, I get a little taller, I'm going to get them. We sit no counseling. Anytime situations happen like this here, we need counsel at these schools. We think these children don't see this stuff. They can't learn 1, 2, 3, but they learn 1, 8, 7, because that's the code for murder. And they see that. They know it. And these kids were 5 and 6 and 7 years old, and they were saying, when I get a little bigger, I'll get who killed my daddy. I'll get who killed my cousin. I'll get who killed my brother. So we had that spirit of anger growing and growing. That's why now a young man get his ink pen taken out of his hand, or somebody's playing with him, take his pencil, and he's ready to kill 5 and 6 and 7-year-old. The spirit of murder, don't matter how old you are, it don't care. And what's happening now here in Birmingham, Alabama, it's going to have to be an all-out cease prayer everywhere. Everywhere. People going to have to pray at school, pray at home, pray in the streets, pray in the grocery store. You have to pray everywhere you go, because right now you can't go anywhere. You can't go to a grocery store. You can't go to a carnival. You can't go to a fair. without fearing it like you're going to be dead before you get back to your house.
Yeah. And a lot of people say that, you know, I know we have to pray, but we got to be active as well. We got to do something about this. And you mentioned the pastors. I know I have a lot of people that I talk to who say they have to get outside of these churches. They have to do more in these communities. And we're not, and like you said, we're not putting the blame on
Right, right. No blame on anybody. No, I take it from right there. No blame on anybody. Fred, you've watched me for years, and everybody have watched me for years. People always thought that Traveling Shoes just like to do stuff by itself. I said, no, I didn't want to do it by myself. Just didn't have nobody coming out there with me. They didn't want to. And then when they do have a meeting to discuss violence, discuss crime, we want to do it over a barbecue dinner at a conference center, in the civic center, at the Civil Rights Institute. And those things are good, but we are asking the wrong questions to the wrong people. Now, you want to find out how do we stop this murder? What can we do? All right, how many times have people done like I've done, went to a prison and looked the murderer in the eye and said, why did you kill? That's the first thing. Ask him why he killed. You're going to get all kind of reasons. And then you're going to have to ask him, what could I have done to made you change your mind about that decision? What could I have done? What could I have said to made you walk away? It's a choice to kill. So how do we change these choices? How do we change these choices? How do we change these mindsets? First of all, we got to get in these mindsets. Can't sit at a church and deal with this issue, and we're not talking to the ones that's doing it. They're in jail right now. Go by there and ask them what's going on. Why you killed? Someone stepped on your tennis shoe. Could you have done any other thing than kill? Have you could have done any other thing? It's sad. It's sad. People continue to hurt.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, and a lot of people. I'm looking at the comments while we talk, and they appreciate you as well for what you said. Traveling Shoes, Harry.
Last year about this time I retired, and everybody said he ain't going anywhere. I said yes, I am. I'm through. I'm through because I had people, pastors. There you go again. Every time you look up, that Traveling Shoes is. Every time you look up, there you go again. Because I knew what it was going to take out here. That's why I was out here. So I decided to sit back and see how many people would come out.
Yeah.
Where all of them tonight? Where the prayer warriors tonight? This community hurting, and they need to get back to God. Yeah. They need to get back to God.
All right.
Don't take your time up, bro, friend.
Yes, sir. Because I got to do a quick recap. If I can talk tonight and have to move on and go.
But we have a murderous city.
We do.
And we're going to have to admit it.
Third one today.
Third one today. And guess what? It gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah. All right, folks. That was Traveling Shoes who was giving us a good word. And right now we have family members. I'm going to shift over to my left a little bit so I can do a quick recap, and then I have to leave and go elsewhere.